All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dive in.
Well, today we're looking at something you might not think we'd cover here. Business administration research.
Sounds dry.
Yeah, maybe a little bit on the surface, but trust me, this stuff gets interesting. I mean, we're going to be looking at how this research actually works. Like, what are these researchers trying to figure
And
out?
I'll definitely talk about why it matters. Even if you're like, I'm not a business person, why should I care?
Exactly.
Hmm.
And the cool thing is we've got some source material that not only defines this whole field of business admin research, but also gives us a whole bunch of potential research topics.
Oh, yeah, and some of them are pretty surprising. Like, I was reading this stuff and thinking, wow, I actually want to know more about that.
Me too.
Yeah.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is business administration research trying to do?
Well, it's all about generating knowledge. Knowledge that helps organizations, businesses, companies, nonprofits run more smoothly, more effectively.
More efficiently too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And sustainably. Can't forget that.
Yeah.
It's not just about making a profit anymore. It's about doing it in a way that's good for the long haul.
Yeah, totally. I like that you said generating knowledge because it makes me think of it like building a toolkit. Like you're
Yeah.
constantly adding new tools, refining the ones you have, figuring out the best way to use them to tackle different challenges.
Exactly. And just like any good toolkit, it needs to be versatile. Business admin research draws from so many different disciplines. You've got finance, marketing, HR, even psychology and tech all playing a role.
So it's not just about finding the one right answer. It's more about understanding how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah, and how they can adapt to the constantly changing world of business. Because let's face it, things are moving fast these days.
Speaking of change, our source material brings up a really big question. How do companies keep pace when everything seems to be in flux? I mean, think about it. Technology is evolving at warp speed. The global landscape is shifting constantly, and the way we work is totally different than it was even a few years ago.
It's a question that keeps a lot of business leaders up at night, I'm sure. And it's not just about reacting to change, it's about anticipating it being proactive. That's where research comes in. It helps identify trends, analyze potential disruptions, develop strategies to not just survive, but thrive in this environment.
So it's like having a roadmap or a crystal ball,
Yeah.
or at least as close as you can get to one.
Exactly. You're not just driving blind, you've got some insights to guide you.
That makes sense. So let's dive into some of the specific research topics that our source highlights, because they really get at how businesses can navigate all this change. The first one that caught my eye was digital transformation and strategic management.
Ah, yes, that's a big one.
Yeah.
It's not just about businesses adopting the latest shiny tech gadget. It's about how things like AI and blockchain are fundamentally changing the way decisions are made at the highest levels.
So it's not just automating tasks, it's about rethinking the whole decision-making process.
Absolutely. Imagine algorithms analyzing massive data sets to help CEOs predict market trends with incredible accuracy. Or using blockchain to create completely transparent and secure supply chains, building trust with consumers and streamlining operations. This research is helping us navigate this exciting but sometimes daunting landscape of tech-driven business.
Okay, that's super interesting. But here's something else I found really intriguing. The next topic is sustainability and corporate social responsibility. It seems like for a long time, businesses saw doing good and making a profit as two separate things. But now it feels like they're realizing they can be two sides of the same coin.
You're right, that shift is definitely happening. Consumers are becoming much more discerning, and they want to support companies that align with their values. This research dives into how ethical practices, environmental initiatives, and a commitment to social impact can actually strengthen a company's bottom line. Think of it as a win-win, doing good for the world while also doing good for business.
I love that. And this next one really piques my curiosity. Entrepreneurship and startup management. Why is this research area so relevant, especially in today's world?
Well, we're living in an era of unprecedented entrepreneurial energy. More and more people are taking the leap and starting their own ventures, and this research is all about understanding the dynamics of that world. What makes a startup successful? How do they navigate the unique challenges they face? What strategies can they use to scale and grow? These are questions that are relevant not just to aspiring entrepreneurs, but to anyone interested in understanding the forces shaping the business landscape.
It's like a crash course in the DNA of innovation.
Ah.
Okay, last but not least, we have data-driven decision-making. Now, I know data is king, is a phrase we hear all the time. But I'm curious, how's this research going beyond the hype and helping businesses actually make smarter choices?
That's the key question, isn't it? It's not just about collecting data, it's about knowing what to do with it. This research delves into the tools and techniques for analyzing data, extracting meaningful insights, and then using those insights to inform every aspect of business strategy. Whether it's developing new products, optimizing marketing campaigns, or managing risk data-driven decision-making is becoming essential for staying competitive.
So taking a step back and looking at all this research, what's the key takeaway for our listener, even if they don't work directly in business administration?
I think the biggest takeaway is that understanding these trends and approaches can be incredibly valuable regardless of your field. It can help you make more informed decisions in your own career, become a more discerning consumer, and gain a deeper understanding of the forces shaping our world.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for the business world. So as we wrap up, we'd love to leave you with a thought to ponder. Of all the research topics we discussed, what aspect of the future of business are you most curious about? What sparks your imagination? Go explore, dig deeper, and see where your curiosity takes you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.